What's up, guys? It's me, Abigail Grace, or Abby. Welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to do a little bit of a different video than what I've done in the past. I don't know. But if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok even, you would know that I love books, I love reading, and it's kind of a big part of my life, and I feel like I don't talk about it that much on here. But I recently came across a video of this girl that was like books about enemies to lovers or something like that. I'll put it right here. But she has a whole bunch of videos about like books she recommends and stuff like that. And it really inspired me to make like a books I'm currently reading or what I'm for the summer. So yeah, that's what this is. As I was saying, I tried to pick books from all different genres. So hopefully there's something for everyone, even if you don't like reading. Let's do it. All right, I have a pile right here next to me, and I'm just gonna go in the order that I picked them up in. So first we have The Iron King. This is a series. There's, I think, 4 books in the series. This is the first one, obviously. I'm currently reading the second one. It's set in like a fairy kingdom. This girl her name is Megan, the main character. She was raised in the human world, but her dad is actually the fairy king, and it's basically just like her adventure to like the fairy kingdom, and she has to save her brother. It's really good. Highly recommend. There's like a love triangle happening, kind of enemies to lovers. It has it all. So if you like fantasy stuff, I recommend this. Next, Outlawed. This was a book of the month book that I read a few months ago. This was different than anything I had ever read before. I just randomly picked it out because honestly the cover is super cute. But it's about this woman who gets married, but it turns out she's barren, and so she joins like I don't know how to describe it, a gang of other barren women that are like creating this like, I don't know, place for women who can't have children to come and have a safe place. It's like a Western, different than anything I'd ever read before, but girl power vibes, but just really good. I recommend. Okay, next, this one, it's called The Bookshop of Yesterdays, and this one is kind of like a mystery scavenger hunt vibe. The main character inherits her uncle's bookshop, and he leaves a whole bunch of clues for her to like figure out their history, because they had a huge falling out when she was little and she doesn't really know why. So it's like her figuring out what went wrong and everything. It's just like a book lover's book, because I mean, it's set in a bookshop. There's also a little romance, but it's mostly like her trying to figure herself out and like do what's best for herself. So it's really good. All right, next book, Cersei, which if you are, I don't know, on Book Talk or anywhere, this book was really popular. It won a lot of things, I think. I don't know. But it's by the author who also wrote A Song of Achilles, which I haven't read, but it's on my list. Anyway, I loved Percy Jackson growing up, and this is definitely Percy Jackson vibes to the max, except it's a little bit more like close to the true Greek mythology, but it's Greek mythology. It's about Cersei, who Percy meets in Percy Jackson, but it's basically her story. And you see a lot of other Greek characters. You meet Odysseus, a lot of different monsters, the Minotaur, and I don't know. It was definitely a more grown-up version of Percy Jackson. There is some spicy moments. There's some, it's probably 18 plus. Like I wouldn't recommend it to my brother who's in high school, but not that he would read it, but just a warning on that one. Still really good. Next, Alex Approximately. This is just your classic, like, easy summer read, rom-com vibes, but in book form. This girl moves across the country to live with her dad, and she's like messaging this guy that she really likes, but she's never met him. And in real life, she starts talking to this boy, and it's just really good. It's like set during the summertime in California. There's romance. It's just good. Intrigue, like it keeps you on the edge of your seat. I read it in one day. It's definitely like fun, easy read. And honestly, I would recommend this to my brother that's in high school. Not that he would read it, but I would have read this in high school and loved it. So, 10 out of 10. Next, this is kind of a similar vein, but a more like adult version. It's Much Ado About You. And it's based on, I mean, obviously Much Ado About Nothing is the Shakespeare play. So the main character, she moves to England to run a bookstore called Much Ado About Books, I think is what the bookstore is called. But she ends up meeting a guy, but she's sworn off men because she just got out of a bad relationship. And she's only supposed to be there for a month, but she makes some really good friends, and it's just sweet. Like, it really made me want to move to England and open a bookstore. Like, good vibes. Definitely like the romantic in me loved this. This is more spicy. There is sex, there is stuff, so 18 plus on this one, but I recommend. It's a good summer read. Next, this book is so good. I read it in one day. The X Talk. I couldn't put this book down. It was really good. It's about two co-workers who don't get along, but their boss wants them to start a podcast about pretending that they're exes, about like relationships. So basically they start this whole podcast / radio show based on the fact that they were dating at one point and now they're exes, but they never dated and it's all a lie. But they end up falling for each other throughout the process of making this podcast. It's really good, lots of twists and turns. Again, probably 18 plus, but I recommend. All right, this book I actually haven't read, but it's on my TBR. But the cover just gives me really good summer vibes. I just picked it up at Barnes & Noble. And I don't know, just good vibes all around. Based on the synopsis on the back though, it's about this girl whose mom died when she was really young, and over the summer she goes to like the lake town where her mom and dad met, and there's basically like two different sides to the lake town, the wealthier part and the less wealthy part, and her dad was from one side and her mom was from the other, and she just basically learns about her parents, and I think there's a love interest. But yeah, it seems really good, sweet. Like, it's set in the summertime on like a quaint lake. We love a little like rags to riches, the prince and the pauper moment. So I get that vibe from this. This is called The Rest of the Story. I don't think I even said that at the beginning, but the rest of the story, I'll let you know how it is when I finish it. But I think it's gonna be good, so. Next is another one I actually haven't read, but this one I am very excited about. I'm actually saving it for my beach trip because I feel like I want to be reading it on the sand while tanning with a drink in my hand reading this book. It's called Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner. And basically it's kind of like, I'm getting like murder mystery vibes, like Clue, Whodunit. Basically the main character has a huge falling out with one of her best friends, but she's invited to her friend's wedding where she's invited to her friend's wedding and she decides to go because she's single and she's looking for a man. It's a big society wedding, so there's lots of men, wealthy men, might I add. And she basically meets this guy, but then she wakes up the next morning and he's vanished and something really terrible has happened to her best friend or her ex-friend, and she has to like figure out who did it. But yeah, the little quote on the top from the Wall Street Journal says, part dissection of female friendships, part murder mystery, part social media tutorial, part love story, and best of them all, part portrait of an overweight, underconfident striver. So this seems like, I don't know, it's gonna be a page turner. I can already feel it. Again, I'll let you know how it is whenever I read it, but maybe we can read it together this summer if you purchase it. All right, I'm on my last two, which I have read both of these, so I can give my full and honest opinion. This is another like fantasy book. It's called These Broken Stars. It's a part of a series. I have only read this first one. I actually have the second one, but I haven't started it yet. But again, this one was like a really easy like page turner read that kept me on the edge of my seat. These two people, it's like set in the future where they're like colonizing different planets, and their spaceship, something happens and only two of them survive through an escape pod, and they're stranded on this planet together and they hate each other, but they have to work together to survive. So yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of twists and turns. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just different. But again, I love a good fantasy, like dystopian vibe, and that is what this is. Really good. And the main characters, you just want to love them. So, These Broken Stars. And last, but certainly not least, my most recent read, Tweet Cute. Emma Lord killed it with this book. I just bought her new book that I can't even remember the name of it. It's coming in this week, but this was 10 out of 10, so good. I don't even know how to explain it without it sounding weird though. Basically the main characters, the girl's mom owns a big burger chain and the boy's family owns like a small like mom and pop shop, and they get into like this Twitter battle, but they find out that the other person is the one that's like running the Twitter. So they start like working together. And yeah, I don't really know how to describe it except for like they're total opposites. The girl is like very school focused, I need to get good grades, and the boy's more like class clown. He's a twin and he feel like he never measures up. And yeah, they have their online like spat, but their relationship in real life gets deeper. And yeah, it's just really sweet and good. Again, I read this in one day, I think. I have a bad habit of that. I don't know if it's a bad habit or not, but if I really like a book, I will stay up late into the night finishing reading it, and I will not put it down. Even though it might be better for me to savor it and enjoy it, I don't. I just read it as quickly as possible because I need to know what happens. So I don't know if that's good or not, but that's what I do. So yeah, those are my summer/spring book recommendations and books I'm gonna be reading. If you have any book recommendations, please leave them down below because I will probably read them. I just got a new job. I'm working at Barnes & Noble this summer, so I get 30% off books, and you best believe I will be using that all the time. So if you have any book recommendations, I will probably buy them and read them, and there will probably be more videos like this on this channel. And yeah, I do book reviews on my Instagram and TikTok all the time, so if you want to check those out, please do. And I'll see you guys in my next video.